prepared? Are you
I'm ready.
prepared? Are you ready, John?
We're
Oh,
doing
hey.
this.
Whoops. We're on. Hey, everybody. It's Dave and Johnny Live. I'm Dave and he's Johnny.
To the second to last one of the year.
Second to last Dave and Johnny Live of the year. This is the last Dave and Johnny Live before Christmas and Hanukkah. Well, before Hanukkah starts. Next week, it'll still be Hanukkah because it's 8 days. But it won't be Christmas anymore because that's one day. And Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah to everybody. Of course, Johnny is feeling festive. Look at that hat, Johnny.
Thought that'd be a good idea. It was appropriate. He had a Grinch on last night, so I decided to change it up a bit,
Yeah.
More cheer instead of all that depressingness they brought.
You thought AJ was depressing last night on Ringside Report, which you can watch here on the YouTube channel, of course.
Well, it was mainly what you guys were talking about because he seemed kind of upset about what happened to Holloway and how he didn't think he lost. So it was mainly that. What you guys were
And
talking
his
about.
all-green outfit and the very cool decor that he brought, which you could see some of the remnants of remains. He left a tree branch here for some reason, but he had all sorts of trees and lights for the Christmas edition of Ringside Report that we did last night with Freddie. It was a lot of fun last night. We had a good time.
It's good. You guys had a lot of cookies, too, I saw.
Yeah, there were cookies. There's more cookies over there. You want them?
Not so much.
No?
No.
Somebody in AJ's family made them. I forget who.
Probably his mom.
Nah, I don't know. I don't think it was his mom. Maybe it was his sister. Somebody in his family made those cookies. I don't know. He told me, but I forget.
His
Thank you
sister's
to
cool.
whoever it was. Yeah. Good cookies. Nice cookies. Johnny,
Yes.
you're feeling festive. It's the holiday season. People are giving out awards. People are giving out Match of the Year, Wrestler of the Year. We kind of talked about our Wrestler of the Year, Match of the Year on our WWE TLC watch-along, right? We were watching TLC this past Sunday. You could watch that on the YouTube channel right now. And we were talking about who we thought was Wrestler of the Year, Match of the Year, and all that stuff. But we'll do our full year-end recap, Match of the Year, Wrestler of the Year, and also of the decade. We're going to do like a full recap of not only 2019, but of the decade. Not a full in-depth what happened through the decade, but just a general, who made a mark this decade. I want to kind of come up with a few wrestlers of the decade and see who people thought was the number one. We're going to give our wrestlers of the decade. We talked about it a little bit on the TLC watch-along, and I've been thinking about it since then. And I said, Roman Reigns could make a good case for being wrestler of the decade. AJ Styles could make a good case. Even John Cena, though, he had a very solid decade. I mean, Cena's only been gone for, a couple of years now? A year, maybe?
A little over a year.
Yeah. And, most of the decade was John Cena's, right?
It was, unfortunately.
So you could say he was the wrestler of the decade. So I want to look back and really see from 2010 to now coming up on 2020 who the top people in the wrestling business have been, what the top matches were. And we'll break it down on next week's Dave and Johnny Live. It's going to be a good time.
Oh, I got homework now. That's fantastic.
You got homework. I've got homework. And I'm starting to do some of that now. And it's been fun kind of looking back. We're going to talk about Edge here on the show. Speaking of this decade, he had a pretty good time this decade, although he had to retire early on.
In 2012 or 13?
Was it that early, really?
Yeah, it was pretty early.
Wow. Well, 2010, 11, and 12 were really good years for Edge, right?
He ended off pretty well.
Yeah, he ended off his career on top, and there's talk that he might come back. We're going to talk about that. But speaking of Match of the Year, and celebrations, we should celebrate this right here. Match of the Year, Johnny North, Genesis versus Drew Onyx. Look at that, Johnny. Match of the Year. That's a plaque that you got. You are the Torture Chamber Pro Wrestling 2019 Match of the Year for your Showcase Sunday match back in February that I was at, and it was incredible. It was Chop City in that match. A lot of chops.
My back.
Yeah, your back. I'm sure Onyx felt it after that match. It was a fantastic match, and this was voted on by the Torture Chamber wrestlers, right?
Well, the main staff, anyways. Apparently not all the wrestlers, but a good chunk of the wrestlers.
Look at you, match of the year.
Well, AJ, I think, tweeted out the strap match was the match of the year.
Right, because you wrestled Drew Onyx twice. AJ got confused as to which match actually won match of the year. He did a nice old graphic
which is nice.
celebrating you. It was in good spirit.
Right.
However, he was incorrect on which match he was actually celebrating.
It's okay. I mean, it's on his YouTube page, actually, the full match when I wrestled Onyx in February. So
nice.
It's cool that he put it out there.
It was a great match. It was a lot of fun to watch. I was there. And, you won that match, too, defending your title. It was cool to see that you won match of the year. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. It was just kind of cool that apparently it was either down to that match or the match where I had with Mike Marston. So apparently I was match of the year no matter what happened, which is kind of cool.
Wrestler of the year? Who was wrestler of the year? Did they give that out?
I think it was Mike Marston, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
Yeah.
How come it's not you?
It wasn't me. The bad guys usually don't get to be wrestling. It's usually the top face.
All right.
Makes sense.
That's okay.
I mean, if you think about it, they should be the most popular, right? So
yeah.
I'm pretty happy with match of the year, especially given the people that were voting on it.
Yeah.
It's not easy to win those votes. People are tough.
From your fellow wrestler.
The peers are the hardest ones to appease, really.
Yeah, and when you get that kind of accolade, when your peers are voting you as the best, it means even more, right?
Well, to me, it's like, well, I was the main event for a good reason now. It was justified.
That's right. And your next one for Torture Chamber is going to be against Dom Boulanger?
That's right, January 25th, because last Saturday I was with Bjork in his corner when he wrestled Dom, and I may have helped him win that match. Not exactly win, but, maybe some interference here and there, and eventually Bjork won, and then afterwards put a good beating on Dom. Unfortunately, Dom may have suffered a concussion because we put a very good beating on him.
Did he really?
Yeah, unfortunately, because we gave him like a double choke slam.
Okay.
And I guess he didn't land too well. So he thinks he may have been concussed. He wasn't feeling too well afterwards. So
that sucks.
It was highly unfortunate. So we'll see if that match even happens now. I don't know what kind of condition he's going to be in because he's always beat up. I remember when I won the title from him last year around this time, like he could barely even have that match. He was all taped up. That's why it was a three-way.
Wrestling's tough, right?
It's tough because for a lot of guys, it's the body. Like, it just falls apart.
Yeah. Not everybody can handle the rigors of professional wrestling.
Well, there's that, and then there's just the stress of, getting to show and getting the right bookings and the right people you want to wrestle. And if you're not happy with that, then there's people got mental issues with that too.
Yeah. It's tough, right?
It can be. It can be difficult.
It's not an easy thing to do. So, I wish Dom Boulanger well. Hope he's all right and hope you can have that match.
We'll wait and see come January, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll wrestle. I'll be there. Will Dom be there? I don't know.
So this last match that you were at, this last show that you were booked at, you were in a guy's corner? You didn't have a match?
That's correct.
Is this the second time in a row this happens?
Actually, this is going to happen again this Saturday.
Okay, so it's the second or third time in a row this happens for this
This
promotion.
will be the second time this Saturday.
This Saturday?
Right.
What's happening this Saturday?
This Saturday, it's...
like tomorrow?
Tomorrow, it's NCW's, Christmas show.
Okay.
So, I'm in the corner of the Latinos.
Okay, you're in the corner of Latinos this time.
Right.
Who you're often in the corner of, right?
Right. So, yeah, they're having the tag team title match. I believe it's going to be a gauntlet because they voted on the gauntlet, the fans, because they could have voted if it was a gauntlet or elimination, and I believe gauntlet won. So it's going to be gauntlet, which is kind of weird because we were expecting elimination, so we had ideas for that. So now everything's thrown out the window on that one. I have no idea what the hell is going to happen. So that's going to be fun to see how this is all going to work out.
Cool.
Yeah, cool, I guess.
Well, you're just in the corner.
Yeah, but we kind of had good ideas planned, and it's that went to hell. Because elimination is a lot more freedom, right? Because there's really no rules in that four corners kind of situation. But gauntlet, it's two teams at a time, so, and there actually are rules. So I can't
Yeah.
cheat as much.
Right. So you can't do as much from the outside.
It's trickier. That's it.
Right. And, of course, I'm repping for your team, Los Latinos, right? Your boys, you're part of that team, right?
I appreciate that. Red's
You're
good on you.
You're the main guys. Well, I appreciate you giving me this sweet T-shirt. Thank you, John. Very cool. Lucha Libre. I gotta look at this. You know what I'm saying? Lucha Libre, today, forever. Most caliente tag team.
We are.
I feel like I've got extra heat wearing this T-shirt. What's that heat? Do you feel it?
I'm wearing a hoodie, so yeah, I'm hot.
It's Latino heat. I love it. Thanks for the shirt. It's very cool. So go Latinos. I hope you guys win. You and what's your name in that? The accountant?
Yeah, Contab.
El Contable. El Contable?
I think it's El Contador. I think in
El Contador.
Yeah,
See. So you're El Contador.
it should be right.
The accountant. You wear a mask. You don't speak. Because the guys you're with are two Puerto Rican guys, Los Latinos, and you are not Puerto Rican.
Not at all. But people can see all our adventures on the Latino Connection channel. That's on YouTube as well.
Excuse me.
I believe episode 7 will be out today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so that'll be cool.
That's cool.
I mean, it's not like being the elite. It's better, in my opinion, so you should check it out.
There you go. And you're on it.
Yep.
Look at you, YouTube superstar. Big Johnny North.
I'm all over YouTube. So many places.
Are you?
Well, I have my matches, too, randomly out there.
That's
somewhere.
right. That's right.
So there you go.
Genesis, Johnny North, El Contador. You go by many names. And none of them are your real name. Not even Johnny North.
Contador, I could go with that. I love that if people would just call me that walking down the street all the time.
Contador.
Yeah.
Well, I'll move to Mexico and maybe that'll be your gimmick.
It's not a bad idea.
People will start calling you Contador, and then people will know you in wrestling. They'll call you Conti, Hey, Conti.
No, that kind of sucked, Conti.
Conti? Conti's good.
Terrible.
No?
Contador. Like, that's fantastic.
Yeah, but, you can't call a guy Contador every time you see him. Hey, Contador. Eventually,
That's fantastic.
Eventually,
Always.
you got to shorten it to
No.
Conti.
What is this shortening stuff?
Hey,
Come on.
It's better than Kant. You don't want to be called Kant all the time. Hey, Kant.
That's terrible,
You
yeah.
Kant.
That's horrible.
It sounds bad.
Yeah.
Kant. C-O-N-T is what I'm saying here, guys. Okay, take it easy.
You've ruined it already.
Hey, Kant. John, you're such a Kant. Adore.
All right. So
El Contador.
next subject. You're ruining this one. You've ruined this. You butchered this.
Sorry. It's not my fault you're a big old Kant.
Terrible.
Adore.
Stop smacking it.
Never. I never will.
Oh, you have.
What? I don't know what you're talking about. SmackDown? Are we talking about SmackDown?
Yeah, you're
This gauntlet match better have a finish.
What
Because
gauntlet match?
that you're doing tomorrow.
Oh, that
Better
match.
have a finish because I don't like gauntlet matches that don't have finishes.
Oh, because on Raw we didn't have a finish on the gauntlet. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. It's not my fault.
You
that
spend
happened,
an hour doing a gauntlet match. You don't even do a finish to it. What the hell was that?
Well,
that was so bad, man. I was sitting there. I was like, well, come on, they're gonna do a finish, and then they don't do a finish. I was like, what was I watching this for, man? We'll talk about it on Wrestling Uncensored. Save it.
I can't
Save
promise you there won't be a finish too, because with us it seems always up in the air what happens.
By God, it's
'Cause
ridiculous.
they've had-
How do you do a gauntlet match with no finish for a title shot? Get out of here, man. It's ridiculous.
Honestly, I'm just saying.
And the babyface is the reason why we don't have the finish, too. Like, way to bury Ray. Whew.
Well, technically, it was the heel's fault because he jumped him too early. It was Andrade's
Oh, he
fault.
jumped Ray?
He
when
jumped
Ray-
Humberto before the match even started or restarted
Why did it have to restart?
because he was outside the ring.
So?
So
You're allowed to be outside the ring.
Mm,
Andrade didn't do anything wrong. He wrestled within the rules, and Rey Mysterio caused that. We'll talk about it. It's ridiculous. Come on, man.
maybe, but I could see in the tag match this Saturday, the Four Corners tag or the Gauntlet tag, that it might end up in kind of like a no finish. So then we have the elimination match in January because they drag stuff out. I mean, Latinos have had a tag team title shot since September, pretty much. They always find a way, which is fantastic for us.
You
but
guys better win.
We'll see. I can't promise you anything. I promise nothing.
All right. Well, I want to see some belts.
I'll be there, and I'll do my best to help them win, but it's not up to me.
So what happened to Kairi Sane at TLC? We were watching the match, and it looked pretty bad. We couldn't tell what was going on. It was just, some ugly wrestling. Apparently, she got a concussion, and a bad concussion. She was all messed up during that match.
It was a table spot, I guess.
Where she dove onto Charlotte and Becky.
And it was kind of awkward the way she landed.
And she hurt herself there.
I'm guessing.
But then after that, everything kind of went to hell.
Well, yeah, because
I think it was before that she got a concussion. I don't know. But after that, everything went really bad. And there was a huge miscommunication there because nobody told Charlotte that, Kairi was messed up, right? Because Becky kind of figured it out. The ref is, talking to them. And then Charlotte's on the other side of the ring. Nobody goes to Charlotte and says, hey, something's wrong with Kairi. Kairi gets up. Charlotte's like, oh, I'm going to spear you. She gives her a terrible spear.
Well, not really. She didn't bump, really.
No, Kairi didn't bump because she was all
Yeah.
So, and then Charlotte picks her up for a powerbomb. Kairi doesn't really go up with her. You could tell.
She was fighting it.
Watching it back, there was something wrong. At the time, you're like, what is going on? It
bad
seems
wrestling.
it just looked bad, right? Yeah. But now that you know that there was an injury there and you see it again and you're like, oh, well, Kairi, at that point, it looks like she just doesn't want to do it and she's just not all there.
Right.
And Charlotte's just like, screw it, we're doing it anyways. And she just, bam, power bombs her hard. That was not good.
No, it wasn't. It's a shame. But where was the doctor on this?
I don't know. Where was the ref? I don't know, but Becky seemed to be the only one. Becky and Asuka seemed to be the only ones aware for a while. There was at one point Becky kind of even pushed. You didn't see it on the show, but there was a fan camera that I saw afterwards where Becky kind of rolled Kairi out of the way under the ring.
Oh, wow.
To get her out of the way of whatever was going on. Yikes. Kairi was really messed up in that match. That's why it was so terrible. That match was really bad, and it didn't start off that great. I don't think you can fully blame the match being that bad on Kairi Sane's injury, but it's going to take a good chunk of the blame, right? Because that match with those four wrestlers who are all very good, you would have expected a lot more, but what we got was just kind of a mess, right? So Kairi Sane getting hurt in that, it not only screwed up the match, but it screws up, the plans for the tag team champions now. What happens to Kairi Sane and Asuka? But you can understand now why that match was so bad and kind of give them all a pass because, Kairi suffered a real injury there.
Well, you say give them a pass. It doesn't change the fact that it was a bad match. Regardless, okay, there were injuries, there's excuses, okay, but still, this happened, and you can't change it.
Sure.
You have to live with that. It was bad. It was very bad.
Yeah, but I don't think that any of the wrestlers lose any stock because they had a bad match. I think that if there was no injury and it was just they just couldn't do it, then it was oh, well, maybe, maybe something's wrong here. Maybe these four aren't as good as we thought they would be together or whatever. But I still think Becky versus Asuka, which is probably going to happen at the Rumble, is something that we should be looking forward to. I think that's going to be a good match because I still think Asuka and Becky and Kairi and Charlotte are four of the top wrestlers in the WWE right now, women or men. They're four of the best talents that they have.
Well, in a singles match, one-on-one, straight up, it's an environment they're more used to. I think they're more adapt towards that kind of environment where it was more of a chaotic situation at TLC, and I don't know if you think they'd be experienced, but it doesn't seem like they're able to handle that kind of situation as much when problems go awry.
That might be true. Charlotte is not as experienced,
Again, they've done years of this, and yet you say they're not experienced? I think they are. They're just not very good at handling the situations.
How long has Charlotte actually been wrestling?
Has it been 6 years now?
Yeah, that's nothing. How long have you been wrestling?
Okay, sure.
How long have you been wrestling?
12, 13. But
Yeah.
she's wrestled more ladder matches than I have.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying.
Well,
like,
it doesn't mean she should be.
but she has more experience in these kind of situations.
Yeah, but she started wrestling. She signed a developmental deal in 2012.
Okay.
She's been wrestling for like 6-7 years. How good do you expect her to be? For the amount of experience she has, she's amazing.
Right.
Find somebody else 6 years in the game as good as Charlotte Flair. But, sometimes it pays to be a 15, 20-year veteran in bad situations, and you can pull these things off. Sometimes when you're not, things happen.
Well, some people are just good in some situations. Some are. It doesn't matter the experience. Some people just aren't hardcore wrestlers, right? And I don't think Charlotte is really comfortable in those kind of situations.
Kairi Sane has been wrestling for 8 years. She started in 2011, late 2011, really 2012. She's been a pro. Kairi Sane's only been wrestling for like 7 years as a professional. Look how good she is. But again, it's not a lot of experience there. Asuka and Becky are the veterans in that, right?
They are. But still, in that kind of match where it's just, there's no tags, it's just absolute chaos from start to finish, everyone's got to be on board with what's happening. And when one thing goes awry, everything kind of unfolds. It's that domino effect we talked about on the TLC show. That's pretty much what happened. It's just one mistake led to another mistake, and they just couldn't get back from it.
But it happens in pro wrestling, right? That domino effect, like you talk about.
You just have a bad match sometimes. It happens. And unfortunately, they had injuries too, so it got even worse. It's too bad. You move on. They will.
Becky took a break in her wrestling career, but she's been wrestling training since 2002. She started in 2002. So she's got a lot of experience. And you saw that because Becky recognized something was wrong, and she kind of led the way there. Asuka's been wrestling since 2004. She's been wrestling for a long time.
And she's been through a lot of wars, too.
She's been through a lot.
Wrestled men.
Watch her and Minoru Suzuki if you haven't seen that. Google Asuka versus Minoru Suzuki. Tell me Asuka hasn't been concussed before, right?
I think people were just upset that people saw Charlotte get upset at Kairi Sane, and then, she didn't try to, check on her. She just, slapped her in the face right away. I think a lot of people look at that. It's like, well, Charlotte's kind of selfish.
I think Charlotte's just inexperienced and unaware. I think she just didn't know what to do. She didn't realize something was wrong.
Well, I think she
didn't get it.
She got heated in the moment kind of thing right there. She knew this looked bad, and she's on television, and it's like, damn it. She got mad. She didn't think. That's it.
Yeah. It happens. It was unfortunate, but, again, it's tough. It's tough. Kind of surprised Kairi Sane and Charlotte Flair have only been wrestling for 7 years.
That's still a long time when you think about it. 7 years, top notch. You're wrestling the best of the best for 7 years, pretty much.
Yeah. Kairi started in Stardom, and Charlotte started in NXT, right? So they both started with really good. They both started kind of at the top of the developmental in their respective worlds, right?
And not only that, Charlotte got to wrestle Natty in NXT. She wrestled people on the main roster in NXT.
Yeah, no doubt. Charlotte has been groomed very well, but it is kind of amazing that she's only been wrestling for 7 years, and look how big of a star she's become. Maybe Charlotte is the wrestler of the decade.
I wouldn't say that, but if you want to, sure.
She started 7 years ago, and she's an icon.
She's up there, yeah.
She beat Trish Stratus at SummerSlam.
Okay.
In Trish's last match in Toronto. Charlotte has reached a status that I don't know anybody else in the decade has gone from kind of obscurity to wrestling icon, future Hall of Famer. Who else in the past 10 years has done that? Roman Reigns has kind of gone from obscurity to superstar, but I think Charlotte is a bigger star than Roman. I think Charlotte has succeeded more. She has been a bigger success for the WWE in making a star that everybody accepts and believes in and is like, yes, we like this person. We accept Charlotte as a top wrestling star. A lot of people still don't accept Roman as a top wrestling star, right?
I think some people are against Charlotte, but they feel like she just got her push because of her name.
Didn't hurt.
It didn't hurt. Roman didn't really have that. I mean, he just had a good
Oh,
look.
no, he had that too.
Okay, the Rock
When your dad is a
relation.
wild Samoan and The Rock is your cousin, it doesn't hurt your chances in WWE. Are you kidding me?
It's not as bad
The
as
Samoan dynasty. What are you talking about?
it's not as bad as like your dad coming out with you. Like Roman didn't have that,
No, but he could have.
but he didn't.
No, but I mean, come on.
I'm just saying it was like right in our faces all the time. And she changed her name. Like she was first Charlotte, now she's Charlotte Flair. Now she's advertising it.
It works.
I'm not saying it doesn't, but
Look, the Nature Boy gimmick was so good, you could keep it going.
I think Randy Orton still gets resentment because of his last name.
I think a lot of them do.
It's just the way it is, unfortunate. But
Yeah, well, they can't help it. I
that's
mean,
it.
you can't help it being a second, third generation wrestler that it helps you get signed or get a look in WWE or NXT. You can't help it.
Or anywhere, really.
It's not your fault. And why wouldn't you take advantage?
Probably better that they do take advantage. You would think they'd be good wrestlers.
A lot of them turn out to be very good because they understand wrestling. They've been in the wrestling business their whole lives. And, like, let's face it, a lot of these kids have sacrificed for professional wrestling their entire lives because they grew up without their father because their father was professional wrestling, you know? Like a lot. I mean, how many of these second, third generation kids, these wrestlers that have come up, grew up, you know, with a famous father who wasn't really at home ever? So don't tell me these kids haven't sacrificed their whole lives for the wrestling business.
Well, it's crazy in that sense. A lot of them are trying to live up in their father's or mom's footsteps. Kind
Yeah.
of thing, you know?
You think it was easy for Charlotte Flair to have Ric Flair as a dad? You want Ric Flair to be your dad?
Hell no. Never want that.
I wouldn't want that.
That's rough.
Right. So you can say, oh, well, she got there because of her dad. Yeah, look who her dad is. Think about her life. Think about what she's had to sacrifice for the wrestling business because her dad is addicted to it. So don't tell me she doesn't deserve a leg up because of that.
Well, deserve, it's totally
Well,
different.
look,
I mean,
man,
she
they
got
have...
it.
Yeah, but they have suffered because of professional wrestling.
In a sense.
If Ric Flair's an accountant, not like you, El Contador,
Thank you.
but, you know, Charlotte probably has an easier life. Her dad's at home. You know, he's not drinking. He's not partying. Not cheating on her mother all the time. You know what I'm saying? It's not an easy life as a professional wrestler. You're on the road 300 days a year.
It's also provided her a good life, too, wrestling.
Sure.
And thanks her dad for that as well.
Sure.
Because her dad helped make it easier.
Sure.
So, I mean, there was some sacrifices along the way, but
But-
the sacrifices paid off in the end, too.
Okay, but again, you want Ric Flair to be your dad?
Heck no.
You
But,
want, you know?
I wouldn't mind Dusty Rhodes, to be honest. Dusty Rhodes would have been awesome.
Well, I think maybe if you're Cody, it was all right because Dusty wasn't really wrestling when Cody was growing up. But ask Dustin. It wasn't easy for Dustin. Look at all the substance abuse issues and all that. I'm not blaming that on Dusty. I'm just saying sometimes when you have a rough childhood, when your father's not around, things happen. Dustin had a rough life.
He still does. It's not easy. Life is hard.
So I'm saying that a lot of people, you know, they give a lot of heat to some of these second-generation wrestlers, but you got to sit back and think, like, well, couldn't have been easy for them either.
No, I don't think it was. But, again, it's not all bad.
No. I mean, it's cool, too, because, like, you know, you get to meet Hulk Hogan, you know?
Well, Cody and
You could
Charlotte.
you could be 7 and, like, hey, Hulk Hogan. You know, if I was 7 and I got to meet Hulk Hogan, it would have been a pretty good day for me.
Well, that's what happened for Piper's Kid, for Cody, for Charlotte. They were all on Nitro at one point in time.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. Sure. There's a cool part of it, too.
They were famous before they were famous, you know? Like,
Yeah.
they got to be the cool kids in school, you know, because they were on Nitro.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I didn't go to school with those people. Couldn't tell you.
Well, if you went to school with Cody, you'd be like, man, you're so awesome. You're on television. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. If I saw a kid at school who was on Nitro, I'd be like, man, you were on Nitro?
That's awesome.
Can I be on Nitro?
Yeah.
Do you know Mongo?
I'd ask him if he knows the Macho Man, but yeah. Like,
I'd be like, do you know Mongo, man? Do you know Lodi? What's Lodi like?
obscure people, wow.
Man, do you think you could get Scotty Riggs to come to school? How about Raven's Flock? I want to join Raven's Flock. Think you can get me in, Cody?
At the time, they were kind of the grunge kind of...
They were cool.
Yeah.
Raven's Flock was very cool.
Didn't last too long, though, unfortunately.
No, but it was a very good group. When they were just sitting in the crowd, you know, when Raven was just sitting there with his guys,
Yeah.
watching the matches and, like, attacking DDP, that was good. The Raven's Flock DDP angle was very good.
It got better when DDP got the triad. And then Raven kind of had nothing after that.
Yeah.
And then Raven faded away into WWE.
Edge, is he coming back?
I mean, one day, someday, I think.
Yeah?
I don't think right away.
Well, he says that he's not. Right?
Well, he didn't say ever, though.
Well, he says, what does he say here? Let's get Edge's official statement from the Rated R Superstar. There's Edge. Still not, period. This is after reports that Edge, former champion, Hall of Famer, the great Edge, great Canadian,
11-time champ? World
reports that Edge has signed a deal with the WWE and is going to return in the Royal Rumble.
This is also based off rumors that he's cleared to wrestle. Clearly,
Yeah.
right?
And we thought he had a career-ending neck injury. He retired back in, what did you say, 2012, 2013?
It's about that.
And now there are rumors that he is cleared to wrestle and could come back. Edge retired. Whoa, it's even earlier than that, man.
2011?
2011.
Wow. Amazing.
2011.
He's definitely not the superstar of the decade.
No, definitely not. Maybe the last decade. Wow.
Even the last, I feel like he was only tail end that he got all those title reigns. Because he'd always win the title, lose the title kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
He was injured a lot in the early 2000s.
WrestleMania 28.
8.
No, 27.
Oh, was his last, really?
Was his last.
Wow.
27.
Crazy.
Against Del Rio. He retired in 2011. And now could be like 9 years later, if he comes back in 2020 in January, that would be some story. That would be nuts. Could you imagine? What could this mean? What would you want to see Edge do if he can come back?
Yeah, that's the problem. There's no like dream match really. Like a guy I'd love to see Edge wrestle. There's really nobody on the roster who I'd love to see him wrestle.
I don't know. I don't
know.
know.
Him versus AJ Styles, I mean, it'll be all right, but that's it. I mean,
Him and Daniel Bryan would be pretty cool.
Okay, hasn't it been done?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I feel like he wrestled Nexus, didn't he? Or was Daniel Bryan not a part of that? Or was he gone and then...
Wasn't he on Daniel Bryan's team?
Possibly.
Yeah, he was with Daniel Bryan on that team. It was team... Because isn't that when Daniel Bryan came back?
Right, but didn't, after all that, didn't Edge, because he was still a heel.
Okay. Yeah, possibly.
It's very possible.
I don't know, man. I don't know what I'd want to see Edge do at this point in time. It's kind of weird because he's been gone for so long that he really doesn't have history with many people. Like, Edge versus Matt Hardy in 2020 would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
No?
No, not really. I don't really want to see that.
I got so much history. Like, Can Christian come back too?
See,
Because an Edge and Christian tag team run would be fun for me. I would like that. Like Edge and Christian against the Viking Raiders. Edge and Christian against the Hardys, maybe, if we can do that one more time. I'd love to see that. You know?
I honestly wouldn't want to see that. I mean, it's kind of
one more time, it's cool, man.
It's cool to see Edge and Christian, but for them to wrestle, like, I don't want to see them get hurt again. Like, I'd rather them actually not wrestle.
So you don't want to see Edge come back?
Unless you have something that's really enticing, and I really can't see anything that's really that interesting right now for him. I mean, him against Seth Rollins, I mean, again, okay matches, but okay at best.
It would make Seth Rollins way more interesting. Edge is one of the best ever. Look, I am down to watch Edge wrestle. He's 46. He hasn't wrestled in nearly 9 years. I'd like to see him do it. If he wants to do it, if he is physically able to do it, and it is safe for him to come back, then by all means, come back. It's Edge. Who is anybody to say no to Edge? He's one of the best ever. I'd be happy to see him come back and wrestle. It would be fun.
Well, you talk about someone wrestling Brock. I mean, you could always throw Edge against them.
Whoa. That would be pretty good. Edge and Brock, WrestleMania. Edge comes back in the Rumble, wins the Rumble, and then goes on to face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. And Brock just cuts promos constantly saying, Edge, I'm going to break your neck again. I'm going to send you back into retirement. And we would all buy into that very much. We would all be like, oh, my God, he's going to kill Edge, you know? You would buy into that. You'd be like, well, I mean, the Rumble is one thing, but a match with Brock at WrestleMania, can he handle it? What's going to happen? He's going to get seriously injured. Like, that would be a good story. We would buy that.
We would, but I don't really want to see that, though. I'd rather see Kevin Owens, someone who's trying to fight his way week in, week out. I'd rather him win the Rumble and face Brock at WrestleMania instead of Edge coming back for this one last shot kind of thing.
Do you believe that Kevin Owens is actually going to get that spot, though?
As of right now, I can't think of anybody else who should get that spot.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's the top babyface on Raw?
To me, it's Kevin Owens.
It's not Randy Orton?
He's there, but he's not the top face because you can't trust Randy. What?
Because he's the Viper.
Exactly.
I think Randy might be the guy for Brock at Mania.
No. I don't think so.
It's a bigger... You know, they look for these marquee matches. You always hear Vince McMahon talk about WrestleMania. You know, you hear about Vince, and he likes what looks good on a poster. You know, it's very important for Vince. Does it look good on a poster, you know? And
Right.
if it doesn't look good on a poster, if it doesn't look like, well, bam, you know? Brock Lesnar versus Kevin Owens. I don't know if Vince buys into that. I don't know if that's something he wants to put on as his main event for WrestleMania. For you and me, it's good. I'm down with that. I want to see it. Kevin Owens deserves it. He should beat Brock. It should be his crowning moment, and we should move on with Kevin Owens as the top guy on Raw. He should be kicking ass, taking names, you know, push him to the moon. I'm with that 100%. He's the man. I think Kevin Owens is great. In the ring, on the microphone, the guy can do it all. But I'm not sure they buy that based on how I see him pushed on TV.
Well, he got stretchered out, so right now he's kind of doing nothing right now. So,
spoiler alert, he's going to come back on Monday night because they taped Raw already. It's taped.
okay.
They taped 2 shows in Des Moines, Iowa. You want me to tell you what happened on Raw?
Not so
I
much.
could tell you everything.
I got to watch it, so.
Well, I don't really want to watch it, so I read what happened.
We recapped this for a reason.
I was like, is this going to be worth watching? Let me find out. And then I looked to see the spoilers, and I was like, oh, no, it's not going to be worth watching.
Tape Raws usually aren't that good,
Oh,
but I
it
still got to
looks
watch
so
it.
bad, John. Can I tell you what matches you're going to see? Like, can I at least give you that?
Non-spoilers, sure.
Non-spoiler for Raw, okay?
Right, okay.
You're going to see Mojo Rawley in a Christmas street fight against your boy, Kevin Owens.
I want to see that. That's all right.
Okay?
Okay.
You're going to see Bobby Lashley versus Cedric Alexander for some reason.
Not what I expected. But
Lana
okay.
will talk again, of course.
They're getting married not next week.
Next
the
week.
week after.
Well, yeah, they're getting married on the 30th in Hartford.
Right.
On Raw, live, on the next live Raw.
That's fun.
Because Monday will be taped from Des Moines. Drew McIntyre is going to wrestle Zack Ryder.
Because I think he wrestled him already, didn't he?
Maybe it was Kurt Hawkins last. I don't know. Who cares?
Okay, whatever.
Who wants to see that?
Filler, all right.
Becky Lynch is going to cut a promo.
Challenging Asuka, I guess?
Maybe. I don't want to spoil it for you, but yes.
Okay, well, whatever. That's predictable.
Tony Nese will wrestle Ricochet.
It's okay. Sure, fine.
Aleister Black will squash a jobber.
Okay, yeah.
Buddy
Seems like
Murphy will also squash a jobber, and then they will face off in a jobber squashing competition.
They're going to wrestle on Raw?
No, they're just going to look at each other.
Okay. Probably
They're both going to beat jobbers. They're both going to wrestle
So-
against two different jobbers while the other one looks at the other guy wrestle the jobber.
So they're going to do a rematch of this.
Eventually, yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be on Raw on the 30th in Hartford.
Pumping
Black
this-
versus Murphy, the rematch.
Pumping the 30th is a big show.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all right.
Charlotte Flair will wrestle Chelsea Green from NXT.
Zack Ryder's girlfriend
Yeah.
or fiance, I don't know.
Randall Orton and the Viking Raiders will take on AJ Styles and the OC.
Well, that's what we hyped last week, so that makes sense.
Eric Rowan will wrestle a jobber.
More filler.
No Way Jose will wrestle Rusev.
Okay.
And
fine.
in the main event for the United States Championship, it will be Seth Rollins versus Rey Mysterio. And don't hold your breath for a clean finish in the main event, brother.
Well, as long as I know that, I mean, it's all right. I mean, ups and
Is
downs.
it?
Ups and downs. There are things I'm looking forward to watching, actually, off that.
Kevin
so.
Owens opening match.
Kevin Owens. I'm looking forward to seeing the main event.
OC against Randy and the Vikings will be good.
Even the 6-man tag, too.
The Viking Raiders are so good. I feel like people don't talk enough about how good these guys are. They are great tag team champions. I love the Viking Raiders. I have Viking Raiders gingerbread men hanging on my Christmas tree out of respect.
Well, we'll break the fourth wall here. It's because your son loves the Viking Raiders.
He
That's
also
why.
does love the
Yeah.
Viking Raiders. He says he does. They do the best flips.
Right.
He also says that I'm the big Viking Raider and he's the little one. So I
Well.
guess I'm Ivar and he's Eric.
For now.
But he also says that he's Raybar.
Is he watching the show Vikings or what?
No, I just think he doesn't. When I say Ivar, he's just like, yeah, it's Raybar. I'm calling him Raybar. I
Okay.
like Raybar better, actually, for Ivar.
It sounds like more of a name for Vikings. the
Either
show.
way, the Viking Raiders are over big time in my house. Like,
That's all right.
we are big fans of the Viking Raiders. They're tremendous. NXT Tag Team Champions, Raw Tag Team Champions, IWGP Tag Team Champions. That's the most important one. That's why they're over with me, brother. The War Machine, those guys were badass. These guys have wrestled everybody. They've wrestled the Bucks. They've wrestled the Hardys. Like, you search YouTube for the War Machine or the Viking Raiders versus, whatever tag team. They have done it all, man. These guys are legit, and they're really reminiscent of the OC. Anderson and Gallows, former IWGP Tag Team Champions, just two big, badass wrestlers. Great tag team that can really go. Like, these guys wrestling each other is great stuff. Every time I see these guys wrestle, I'm like, yeah, this is good. I want more of this. They're excellent, man. These four guys wrestle really, really well together, and I feel like people don't really give them enough credit. Like, they're kicking ass right now. The Viking Raiders are awesome, and they're flying under the radar. No one's talking about them. They're flying under the radar.
The problem is they kept having these squash matches, and it was just the same old, like for weeks. So people stopped caring because why should we care when it's just no competition? And then finally they wrestle the OC, and it's a no finish.
No,
And
they lost.
No, but at the pay-per-view,
Right. It was a no finish, but they Man, the match this week on Raw, OC and Viking Raiders, when the OC won,
Right.
that was a kick-ass match. It was very good. I was like, yes, this is tag team wrestling. It felt very old school. Like the Viking Raiders would work in any era. They're big enough. Like Viking Raiders and Demolition, Viking Raiders and the Legion of Doom, OC against any of those teams too. Like, you know, Viking Raiders versus the Rockers or the Hart Foundation.
Right.
It would have been tremendous. Like Viking Raiders against the British Bulldogs. Could you imagine how good that would have been? Like, these guys are a classic tag team that will be around for years to come. Learn to recognize and appreciate the Viking Raiders because these guys they're super legit. Like, they're not just good. They are great. They're future Hall of Famers. Like, I'm saying it now. If these guys stay in the WWE for another 5 years, they're in the Hall of Fame. They're that good. They're going to be multiple-time tag team champions. They're incredible, man. I see these guys work, and I love it every time. The more I watch them, too, I appreciate them more and more every time. They're great, man.
Yeah, they're good in the ring. That's no problem with that. It's just to make compelling storylines for them. Now,
Yeah.
The problem is competition. You got to keep creating that for them. And it's tough. There's not a lot of it.
Yeah. Well, right now they've got the OC and you've got the AOP waiting in the wings. So they've got their next few months settled, right? You could do easily the OC again, you know, if you want to do a tag title match at the Rumble, and then wait for the AOP at WrestleMania or do some sort of four-way or some deal, you know, and then do a real AOP versus Viking Raiders story after Mania even.
Either way could work. I mean, it feels
With
like
two teams that are solid like that, like the AOP and the Raiders, or and the OC, like the Viking Raiders have a few months of solid competition ahead of them. This thing with the OC is just getting started. I mean, they lost on Raw, right? So it's clearly not over.
they're probably going to wrestle them at the Rumble, probably, and they'll probably finally get the win. And then AOP going into Mania.
They might wrestle them for the tag titles on this Raw in Hartford on the 30th. Like, we might not wait
maybe.
for the Rumble, you know?
Maybe.
Because at the Rumble, don't forget, we have 2 Rumble matches,
Right.
probably a Brock Lesnar match and a Fiend match, right?
Right.
I don't know if we're going to have room for tag titles on this thing.
It's a kickoff show.
You might just throw them all in the Rumble itself. Maybe the kickoff show, but maybe you just have the New Day defend on the kickoff show. You know what I mean? You don't always have both tag titles defended at the Rumble.
Maybe you save Kofi for the Rumble because Kofi's got to do his Rumble spots.
Kofi should win the Rumble.
That's not going to happen.
He's so good.
And he's not Wrestler of the Decade, too. I don't know why people say that. He's not Wrestler of the Decade. I mean, he had a good moment. He's not even Wrestler of the Year. He had a good moment. It was cool, but it's faded. It's over. It's gone.
He's not Wrestler of the Year in WWE?
No.
Who is?
I think AJ Styles or Seth Rollins. I know you hate that, but, man, Seth Rollins, who had a better year than Seth Rollins?
Kofi Kingston?
No. Seth Rollins way better. I mean, look at Seth Rollins against Brock. Look at Kofi Kingston against Brock. I won.
I don't know. I think Kofi has better matches overall.
I'll tell you, man, that Seth and Brock match from SummerSlam, that might be match of the year for WWE.
Really? I don't know what match of the year for WWE is.
Well,
I'm having a hard time coming up with one. Overall match of the year for AEW, easy.
Right.
Match of the year WWE, I'm like, what did they really do this year? What have we learned?
That's why Seth and Brock, SummerSlam. Nothing was better than that.
Well, we'll do our match of the year, match of the decade. Match of the decade. How about that, brother? That's going to be fun. And, everything next week on the year-end edition of Dave and Johnny Live. Final episode of 2019, final episode of this decade. I don't know what the decade is called. What is this decade called? Like, I feel like it's not a decade, like the 2000 to 2010, I didn't feel like that was a decade. It was called the Knots or something. I don't even know.
I didn't know that.
What is
Wow.
this decade called? Can I Google that? What is this decade called? The last decade, the zeros, the aughts,
So this is the aughts?
the 2010s. No, this is the 2010s.
Okay.
The last decade was the aughts, and this is just called the 2010s.
Okay. It's not very exciting.
Well, I'm looking forward to the Roaring 20s.
Yeah.
That's what I'm calling it.
That's what it was called before. But
Yeah, that's what they called it in like 1920. I'm bringing it back, baby. The Roaring 20s. They're going to be roaring. I'm expecting a lot of lions, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what roaring means, but I guess
see that.
I guess roar, you know. Braun Strowman's going to be big. In the Roaring 20s, I think Braun Strowman should be the wrestler of that decade. Yeah, I think we're doing the Roaring 20s wrong if Braun Strowman isn't wrestler of the decade in the Roaring 20s.
Let's see.
I can't wait for the Roaring 20s, John. Finally a decade we can name.
Let's see Braun get through his 5-year contract first.
Yeah, oh man, he's going to kill it. Roaring. It's not the Roaring 20s? You don't want to call it that? I think it's great. The 20s, baby.
You're more excited for it than I am.
I'm super excited for the 20s. The 30s are going to be nuts. Oh, I remember back in the 30s, you know? Crazy. Crazy. Are there people still alive from the 20s that are going to be alive in the new 20s? I guess so. They're 100-year-old people.
There can be.
Man.
There usually are.
That's messed up. All right, show's over.
There's no other topics? I thought you guys had other topics to talk about. No? Yeah, everything covered?
We covered everything. We've been on for almost an hour, John.
So you have some comments there?
Yeah, one comment. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what the comment is referring to. It's like an old comment, I think, about something else. I don't know.
Okay, that's interesting.
Roaring 20s. Roaring 20s. See you later. For the year-end edition of Dave and Johnny Live, watch us tomorrow. Wrestling Uncensored. We'll be back. We'll be talking about professional wrestling, WWE, everything going on there. Why Rey Mysterio ruined my gauntlet match on Raw. Why the Viking Raiders are the best ever. No, I already covered that. So we'll talk about other stuff. And AEW, they did their last show of the year. They've got a big show coming up on January 1st that we're going to preview. There's a lot going on, man. There's a lot going on, and we're going to continue to cover it on Wrestling Uncensored. Watch the show tomorrow. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video. Leave a comment. All that stuff. Follow Johnny on his stuff at North Genesis, at Genesis Johnny North. Follow me at Dave Simon MMA on all the things. Go to ringsidereport.net for all our things, all our shows, all the podcasts, and so on.
Man, December just flew by, didn't it?
Yeah. Happy Hanukkah.
And Kwanzaa.
You're supposed to say Merry Christmas. Like, I'm going to do the Hanukkah. You're going to do the Christmas. It's supposed to be
Kwanzaa?
Okay, Happy Kwanzaa. We'll both say Happy Kwanzaa. I'm Jewish. I'm doing the Hanukkah, and you're going to do the Christmas. Okay, let's do it again. Okay, you ready? Okay, here we go. Happy Hanukkah.
And Merry Christmas.